Hundreds of thousands of people are gathering in mass demonstrations across the U.S. and around the world. Protests against police brutality of Black people, which were sparked by the death of George Floyd.
Please, I can't breathe.
A Black man in Minneapolis who died in police custody after a white officer was filmed kneeling on his neck until he became unresponsive. These protests are all happening while the deadly coronavirus continues to spread. Many health experts are concerned about the large clustering crowds that could cause a possible spike in COVID-19 cases.
People are upset, justifiably. I think they're angry about the horrific death of George Floyd, and they're very passionate right now and they want to be heard. But the very definition of a protest negates social distancing. It means getting together, it means assembling. And that's the biggest risk factor, the lack of physical space and distance between people. And then you add in some not wearing masks, and it is a concern.
But there is a valid argument being made that, pandemic or not, there is another disease-like danger plaguing society.
Racism kills lives every day. Before the pandemic, Black people were still dying. So I will stand here to fight for the people that were dying today, that were dying yesterday, 400 years ago.
If we choose to stay silent because coronavirus is outside, that this will all blow over again and this will keep happening.
So can you protest safely during the pandemic? Experts we spoke to agree there are things you can do to reduce the risk of spreading the coronavirus.
If you're at the protest, if you're participating there's lots of things you can do, and as much as possible, keeping distance from other people. And I think lots of people are doing that, keeping the 2 meters. The cloth face coverings are really important. That helps protect you and other people. Using your hand sanitizer, just having that with you, washing your hands as much as you're able to.
It does help that protests are being held outdoors.
Hopefully on breezy days, it can distribute. If somebody is sick, then hopefully the viral particles that come out of somebody will get distributed in a way and diluted down so that they don't actually infect anyone.
The chanting and cheering that goes on at demonstrations creates more droplets through which the virus spreads, so the use of instruments or written signs is recommended.
I think COVID's most dangerous aspect is that it spreads so readily among people who don't have any symptoms at all. It means you need to be vigilant. It's not about saying, well, that person looks okay. You need to be vigilant. You want to be looking around you, and you want to be staying away from people who are not wearing a mask.
Tear gas and pepper spray used to disperse crowds could make things worse, causing people to tear up and cough, increasing the possibility of transmission. Getting tested after a protest is a good idea.
Monitor your symptoms for 14 days afterwards, because we know if you're exposed, it could take up to 14 days to develop symptoms. And if you do develop symptoms, go and get tested and go and get assessed to see if you do have COVID-19.
More than 100,000 Americans have already died of COVID-19, and people of color have been disproportionately hit hard during the pandemic. And while there is concern of a second wave of cases in the next few weeks, it will be difficult to pin down what exactly caused it.
At the same time that these are happening, we're also seeing businesses start to go back much more actively this week than in the past. And so disentangling what the sources of new outbreaks that we may see in the future will be important to do.
For now, the best precaution protesters can take is demonstrating responsibly.